Hi y'all, this is Vinny, your witch of a host, and welcome to Vinny's Witching Hour. Now, I know it's a couple days till Halloween. Matter of fact, 4 days till Halloween. I will get to a Halloween video very soon, believe me. I got a couple things I want to talk about. Some cases that interest me and something. And don't worry, I'll get to it. But the case that interests me, and I know it's been talked a lot. Believe me, I know, is the Jack the Ripper, and the Whitechapel murders. Yeah. I know, everybody's been talking about this. But it's very interesting a little bit to me, because I was thinking of this theory, of a lot of theories of who could it be and what could have happened to it. I'm going to get to my theory. I'm going to get to the theories of the police and my theories, because I feel like the police could be wrong on some things. And but first I'm going to go through the list of the victims and the list and how they died and how horrific it was. I'm going to go which each thing I'm going to go through my theory. These are cases that's going from April 3rd, 1888 to November 9th, 1888. Now, after November 9th, there has been many, many more cases, but it'll be too long. So, with that being said, let's get into this. Oh, by the way, before I start, they don't know me, but I watch them. Shout out to Shade and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved and Supernatural. I'm gonna miss you guys. I really loved your YouTube channels. I wish you would have keep going with your shows. I really love you guys with your banter with each other. Also, another shout out to a podcast I like listening to. If you ever get a chance after you watch my YouTube channel, and I also have a podcast too. Go listen to Morbid with Elena and Ash. They're awesome ladies. Shout out to you girls. I listen to you all the time. Now with all that shout out, I'm going to get into my cast, my YouTube. Okay, the case is the Jack Ripper files with the Whitechapel murders. April 13th, 1888 through November 9th, 1888. First victim, I want to say, is Emma Elizabeth Smith. She was 45. And this happened on April 3rd, 1888. It was reported that she stated that she was assaulted and robbed. But around, it was early in the morning. They didn't specify how early in the morning it happened. Sorry, y'all. My throat's been very dry lately. But it happened around Osborne Street and Brick Lane. Around I can't remember how you say it. Spitalfields, or probably on Whitechapel, but she was walking to her lodging in Spitalfield. I hope I'm saying that right. I do apologize if I haven't said it right, so y'all please don't give me bad comments. Just if you can, please correct me. Anyways, she was walking to her lodging to 18 George Street in Spitalfields. She seen the deputy innkeeper, Mary Russell, when she got there, told her of the attack, that there was three people, 2 men and one teenager, who attacked her and robbed her. Miss Mary Russell took her to the hospital, and the doctor there who examined her, London Hospital, of course, the doctor that examined her stated that her pendonum, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, was ruptured and causing her to have pendonitis, which ultimately led to her death at 9 o'clock in the morning that day. This theory of 3 people, I feel, with almost every murder, is plausible. But I don't think it's always the 3 men. I don't think it's always 3 men. And you'll see why. The next case happened on August 7th of 1888 with Martha Tavra. She was age 39. She was found at 2:30 a.m. at George Yard by George Yard. This woman was stabbed 39 times around her neck, about her neck, her torso, and her vaginal area. And it was by a short blade. They come to figure out that the suspect, the police have come to think that the assailant is right-handed because it went left to right. I believe that theory. But also, police later on, police speculate that the first two murders was not any relation to the main six, the well-known 6 of the Jack the Ripper killings. I call BS on that, because the first 2 could have been, like, the first one could have been just a robbery, wanting to rob a prostitute and take her money. I don't think the 2 men intended. I don't know if it was the teenager. I don't think the teenager might have done it. I don't think he would have intended to kill her. I think he just wanted to hurt her and take her money. One of the 2 men, or both of the adult men, and that stabbed Emma Elizabeth. Emma Elizabeth Smith. If they I think they might have one of the men might have intended to hurt her badly. And that was their first time. The second one, I think it could have been two that did Martha Tavra in, or it could have been just one, and it could have been his first time, his actual kill. He wanted to hurt somebody badly because he was probably hurt badly. He was probably brokenhearted or something. Now, brace yourself. I know you all probably heard of this, but as the case murders go on, the more brutal the killings are. I was surprised. I looked at this and I've heard of this case so many times. It's pretty brutal. It's very brutal. Next case is Marianne Nichols. She was 43. Found on August 31st, 1888. Let's see here. She was found in Bucks Row, which is now known as Durward Street, which is a back street of Whitechapel. She was discovered by a cart driver named Charles Cross around 3:45 a.m. in front of a gated stable entrance. Now, on this one, she was mutilated, stomach with deep jagged wounds. I mean, the Ripper, Jack the Ripper, just whoever he was or whoever they are, it could be two people, deeply wounded this woman. I mean, cut and stabbed her wounds, and then when they opened her up, they did more cutting and stabbing on her abdomen, and then they cut on her right side. Okay, with a small blade, the same knife that was used in the last one. And of course, throat cut left to right, but it was cut twice on this one. I'm guessing the first time they didn't get the jugular to keep her from screaming, so they cut her. The person, Jack the Ripper, cut her the second time to keep her from screaming. If y'all haven't noticed that if you haven't seen any horror movies or any murder mystery movies, the person that does the killing, if you notice, they slice the throat. Like, let me put it this way: Friday the 13th, the first one, the very first one, with Jason Voorhees' mother. She sliced the girl's neck left to right, and she cut it right here where she couldn't scream. Nobody could help her. But anyways, to get back, besides that, I'll get into that. But second one, but they're saying that there's no way that this could be, with the precision of everything, that this could not be a medical professional. And I'm like, maybe not, but what if it's a student? I mean, a medical professional's hands is going to be steady, where a medical student is learning, and they're not quite as, their hand is not quite as steady, because they're learning, they're having to dissect bodies or animals or something, right? Anyways, going on. Annie Chapman, age 47, found September 8th, 1888. Found in the doorway of a backyard of 29 Hamburg Street, which is in Spitalfields, at 6 a.m. Okay. What has been told on this one? What I've seen on this in some information, all information. I've been looking these up, looking at this a lot. She left her lodging. She left where she was lodging at to go meet a client, a supposed client that she thought, to get money for rent at 2 a.m. Found her same exact way, found her throat cut left to right. She was disemboweled of, and her intestines had been thrown over each shoulder. So you took out part of her intestines, throw it over her left shoulder, and then take out the other intestine and throw it over the right shoulder. And then medical examiner said part of her uterus has been taken out. Wonder why he did that. Was he studying the male anatomy? Now, we're going over, like I said, I think this could be something else. This could be part of a medical team, or two of them have somewhat of a medical degree, and one is learning, and the one that's learning is the one that's doing the cutting, is the one that's cutting the bodies that got, as it got gruesomer. Yeah. Now, the other case, I think it's my sixth one is what I'm looking at. Sorry, I had to think about this. Is Elizabeth Stride, age 44, found September 30th, 1888. This one was a little hurried. Because she was found in a pool of her own blood, in Dunfield's yard and Gateway 40 of Berner Street, which is now Henriquist. I'm sorry if I say these street names wrong. I'm sorry. But she was laid in a pool of her own blood, throats cut left to right. But it was a hurried job because the killer was disturbed. Possibly this time the killer, the Jack the Ripper, was doing this himself at this time. And her body was found at 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, about 45 minutes later, they find 45 minutes later, on the same day, they find Catherine Eddowes, age 46. Found her, and it was found by PC Edward Watkins, I'm guessing police commissioner. I'm guessing that's what they call him. On southwest corner of, I'm sorry if I say this wrong, Might Square. This one got a little more brutal, but not as brutal as the last one. The last one is brutal, y'all. Her face and abdomen was mutilated on recognition. She kind of, you almost couldn't recognize her, is what's saying. Her intestines was drawn over her right shoulder. Her left arm was detached from her torso. Her kidneys were removed, and most, if not all, of her uterus was removed. So y'all starting to think that this might be a medical or a medical student? Because this person knows exactly where everything is. And last case. This one is the mother of them all, of all these 8 cases that I have been looking at, is Mary Jane Kelly. She's the youngest of them all. She was only 25 when she was killed. She was found on November 9th, 1888 at 10:45 a.m. approximately, is what they say. She was found at 13 Miller's Court behind 26 Doris Street, Spitalfields. And it's the most brutal. She was found in her bed, believed to be intoxicated, to be either, the way this has played out, she either knew the person, or the person was who she thought would be a client, or she was intoxicated and she was passed out when this all happened. I believe in all 3 of those theories. I do believe those theories could happen. But more 2 and 3 than 1. And I'll tell you why here in a little bit. Her face was mutilated beyond recognition. You couldn't recognize her at all. Her throat was cut again, left to right. Her chest and abdomen was open, wide open. All her insides were flown about the room. Her breast, both breasts were removed, and she was found. I don't know what they mean by this, Chesney. I'm guessing either she was nude or she was in a nightgown, because they didn't find they didn't find her regular clothing on her. Police believe that the reason why her murder was so brutal is because the killer, Jack, nasty, Bloody Jack, had all night to work on this murder. And in the morning when her body was found, the door was closed. Part of her clothing that she had was neatly folded. A little burnt, but neatly folded. The police said that the main reason why her clothes might be burned, some of her clothes might be burned, is to have light in the fire, so he could see what he's doing, because it was dimly, the place was so dim you couldn't see. Now, theories of the police of who they say Jack the Ripper is. They believed it was Prince Albert Victor. Why? Because he was royalty. I mean, yeah, there are some things that some royalty people will do and then they get away with it. But no. Another theory is Joseph Barnett, which is Mary Jane Kelly's ex-boyfriend and still a friend. I don't really think he did it. That's where it comes into play, that it's somebody that she knew. I don't believe he did it. I don't know why. The way I see it, I don't think he did it. And there's a whole bunch of list of people that they do say it is, and it's mainly men. Okay, yeah, but they're forgetting some of the prostitutes. I mean, they have women too. Anywhere they can get their money, huh? But anyways, my theory. And yes, I'm going to smoke a cigarette with this one. My theories is that it is a medical student. And or a surgeon. I mean, come on. This surgeon could be like a medical professor that's teaching. I mean, and or a midwife. There could be 2 or 3 killers, and maybe all 3 types. Now, in the Victorian times, there was a lot of people who walked around with blood, but the main ones that would walk around with blood on their clothes or blood on their hands is mainly doctors, medical students, midwives, and butchers who work in, and the butchers could be working in a butcher shop or a slaughterhouse. Either way, those are the ones that will walk around with blood on their clothes. Why do I believe? I believe more in the medical student and the doctor and maybe the midwife. Why would I say the midwife? Because they know more about the uterus than anything. I mean, they're the ones that have to pull the baby out of the belly. Come on. Yes, doctors look at uteruses. I'm pretty sure. And I believe it's why do I believe it's a medical student working at this? Well, if it's just 2 medical student and and a medical professor. Why do I believe that? Well, the police don't think it is what I have seen, what I have looked at, they don't believe it's professional. Yeah, the first 2 times, yes. I don't think that could be a botched job that happened and the boy was just learning. the guy was just learning somehow. And he got frustrated. And so he took his frustration out and just stabbed. But on the first one, Emma Elizabeth Smith, I think they knew exactly where they're stabbing and where they can do the most damage, because she stabbed slowly. But that one, I think, is like a medical student. And the other two are like, if there was 3 men, the other 2 were just there to rob her. But he was there to actually kill her. And he didn't kill her right away. He might have thought he did, but he didn't. Now, the other murderers after Martha Tavra, they all link, because they're all except for Emma, but that's the start of a brutal murder. But they were all linked because the throats were cut left to right. I believe that is I do believe that it is a medical student, because it's not steady, not all of it steady. The only one that seemed to be more brutal and a little bit more steady is the Mary Jane Kelly case. And I believe it was a medical student. And a medical student has taken all of his knowledge that that his professor was giving him, and sliced and diced, and decided to slice and dice Mary Kelly. And it was horrible. It was just horrible. But then again, everything was horrible back then. And other theories, and another theory I have, it could be a woman and a man. I mean, come on. The woman could be a midwife, learning more about the woman, learning a lot more, and the man could be a psychotic doctor, a gentleman by day, but a psychotic doctor by night. And he could be slicing and dicing. Now, the one theory with Elizabeth Stride, that one, that could have been done on their own, could have been done quickly, because they were being disturbed. They just sliced her throat and went. They were being disturbed. It could have been a student doing this, getting ready to make his incision, and then all of a sudden the police, all of a sudden the professor, the psychotic professor, could have told, medical professor told the student, "Hey, stop! I hear police coming," and then they stopped and they walked off and went on to the next victim, which was Catherine Eddowes. Yeah. And it took a little bit more time. And he told him, and the psychotic professor could have told him, "Hey, take this out. Show me where this is. Show me where that is. Throw it over here. Throw it over here." show me where the uterus is. You know, kind of like a psychotic medical class after. Another theory I have, Jack the Ripper's mom could have been two things. A midwife by day and a prostitute by night to take care of him. And he kind of loved and hated his mother at the same time. He loved what she did. He loved her, what she did in the morning, in the daytime, helping women deliver their babies, but he hated what she did at night. And the Johns that she had, could have abused her or abused him, or both. And he got to the point where he was psychotic about it. And he probably had a hatred for prostitutes. But the thing is, that theory could be blown out of the water, because if he didn't like the prostitutes, he would also hurt the Johns too, the clients. But that's my theory. If you like this, please hit that like button, subscribe. Also, let me know your theories. I would love to hear your theories on this. It would be really... comment down below, and I'll see you next time, my little witchlings. And as always, have a wicked good night.